everyone. I hope everyone is well. So I'm going to continue from where I left the last time. So I'm going to focus on number 4, problem number 4. So it says, show that line, this equation is perpendicular to line 4y equal this equation. Okay. So if I go to notebook and write those equations, it says, if I use the pen tool, the line 3y equal 4x minus 14 equal 4x minus 14, this line, and 4y equal minus 3x plus 48. 4y equals minus 3x plus 48. So these two lines are perpendicular to each other. So I have to prove that these two lines are perpendicular to each other. So we know that if two lines are perpendicular, then their slopes multiplication is minus 1. So what I would try to do here is try to write it in the form of y equals mx plus c, where m is the slope. So if I first try to write this equation in this form, the standard form, so we can divide both sides by 3. So it can be like something like y equals 4x minus 14 by 3. We just use the 3 here, like divided both sides by 3. So we can also write, we can split this. So we can write 4x by 3 or 4 by 3 x minus 14 by 3. This is the same as this expression. We just split the two parts. So now, as you can see, this is what? 4 by 3x plus minus 14 by 3. So this is the form that I want to write, right? Y equals mx plus c, this form. So you can do the same for this one as well. So we can divide both sides, because there is 4y, I can divide both sides by 4. So y would be what? Minus 3x plus 48 divided by 4. I just divided both sides by 4. So you can split the two parts. So minus 3 by 4 x plus 48 by 4, which is 12. So as you can see, I have got this form again from the second equation. I've written both equations in y equals mx plus c format. So as you can see, in the first equation, the slope is 4 by 3, and in the second equation, the slope is minus 3 by 4. Now the question is, does their multiplication equals minus 1? The answer is yes, because 4 by 3 multiplied by minus 3 4 by 4 is what? Minus 1. So these two lines are indeed perpendicular to each other. So this is the answer of 4. So if I go to 5, here are the equations of 5 straight lines. So P, Q, R, S, T are 5 straight lines here. So the first thing that I would have to do here is write down the letter of the line that is parallel to this equation, y equals x plus 6. So if I write the equation y equals x plus 6. Now if it is parallel, I know that the slope is 1. If we have the y equals mx plus c format, the slope is 1. So, and if we know that two parallel lines, let's say if I draw an axis, let's say x and y axis, two parallel lines, let's say this one and this one. So if these two lines are parallel, their slopes are the same. They have the same slope, right? So they have the same slope. So if they have the same slope, then the line that is parallel to this equation would have the same slope. So if I write, we know the slope, which is 1. So the parallel line will also have the slope 1. So it would be y equals 1 into x plus a constant. So if we look at these equations, which equation has the slope of 1? This one, y equals x plus 5. So r, if you look at the equation of r is what? Y equals 1 into x plus a constant, which is 1, right? Or sorry, 5. So as you can see, the slope here is 1. So r is parallel to the equation y equals x plus 6. If you look at other options, this in P the slope is 2, in Q the slope is minus 2, in S the slope is minus half, and in T the slope is half. Only in R the slope is 1. So this R is parallel to this equation. So this is A. So for B, if you write down the letter of the line that is perpendicular to y equals twice x minus 1. So y equals twice x minus 1. So it has a slope of 2. So the line that is perpendicular to this line will have a slope of what? Minus half, because 2 multiplied by minus half is what? Minus 1, right? So the slope of the line that is perpendicular to this line would have a slope of minus half. So which of these 5 equations has a slope of minus half? P has a slope of 2, Q has a slope of minus 2, R has a slope of 1, S has a slope of minus half, and T has a slope of half. So S is the answer. S has a slope of minus half. So if you look at numbers, problem number 6, it has point A has coordinates 2, 5 and point B has coordinates 6, 7. So you have to find the midpoint of AB. So if I draw an line or an axis here, X and Y. So if we have the point A and B, so point A is 2, 5, let's say this 2, 5, and point B is 6, 7. Let's say 6, 7 is something like this, 6 and 7. So this is point A and this is point B. So if I draw a line here, so this is point A and this is point B. So I have to find the midpoint, the coordinates of midpoint. So if let's say this is the midpoint, let's say this is C. If I draw a perpendicular here and a horizontal imaginary line here, so what is the coordinates of C? Let's say the coordinates of C is X and Y. So what is x? X has crossed here what? From, if you look at the coordinates of C, it is what? The midpoint of 2 and 6, right? Because the coordinate would be what? The midpoint of x coordinates. So the midpoint of x is what? Midpoint of A and B is what? 2 plus 6 by 2, which is what? 4. So x is 4. And for y is what? The midpoint of y coordinates, which is 5 and 7. So y is what? 5 plus 7 by 2, which is what? 6. So xy is what? 4 and 6. So this is the first one, which is the midpoint of AB. And for the second one, find the gradient of the line that passes through AB. So we have to, gradient is basically slope. So we have to you have to find the slope of the line that passes through AB. That passes through AB. It's something like, if I use x-axis and y-axis, and this is 2 5, and let's say this is 6 7, and let's say this is 6 7, then this line, you have to find the slope of this line AB. So the slope is what? Slope is this, right? If I denote it by theta. So the slope is what? The difference of y coordinates, which is what? 7 minus 5 divided by the difference of x coordinates, which is 6 and 2. So 6 minus 2. So this is what? 2 by 4, which is half. So if the slope is m, so m is what? Half. So this is the slope, the difference of y coordinates divided by the difference of x coordinates. So this is the slope or the gradient. So for C, you have to find the equation of the perpendicular bisector to AB. So the perpendicular bisector is a line that is perpendicular to AB and bisects through the midpoint, something like this. So this is the perpendicular bisector. So if it is the perpendicular bisector, we know that this equation, the midpoint is 4 6, as we have figured out in A, and the perpendicular means that the slope of this line would be what? Because AB, m of AB is what? Half, and perpendicular lines have a multiplication of their slopes -1. So this line that we want to figure out has a slope of what? -2, because -2 into half is -1. So this line, we know that this line has a slope of -2, and this line goes through the point 4 6, which is the midpoint of AB. So we can write the equation y equals -2x plus a constant, and if we use 4 6 as for 6 for y and 4 for x, so you can write 6 equals -2 multiplied by 4 plus c, or c is what? 6 plus 8, which is 14. So the equation is y equals minus twice x plus 14. So this is the equation of this line that is perpendicular to the and perpendicular and bisect AB. So this is the answer of C. This is how you solve these problems. So I hope you understand how I went through each of these. So in the first one, for example, in the first one, we have to show that these two lines are perpendicular. If these two lines are perpendicular, their slopes multiplication would be -1. So we have to all we have to do is write it in this form and find the slopes, which was 4/3 and -3/4. So their multiplication is -1. So these two lines are perpendicular. In the second problem, 5 lines were given, and in the first part we have to find the line that is parallel. So if there is parallel, then it has the same slope, which is 1. So only R has a slope of 1. So R was the answer for A. And for B, we have to figure out what is perpendicular to this line. So perpendicular with a slope of 2, that means the slope would be -half, and S fills that criteria. And for 6, we used 2 points were given. We have to find the midpoint of 2 points were given. We have to find the midpoint. So the midpoint is the mid of x coordinates and the mid of y coordinates. So the x coordinates has 2 and 6. So the midpoint would be 4. And for 5 and 7, the midpoint would be 6. So 4, 6 was the mid coordinates xy of A. So I hope you understand how I went through these videos.